on, Theo. Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? Well, friends, good morning from Buttonwood campground. Maybe you can hear
There goes the train.
the train going in the background.
A train.
We
The many.
man, when you do the tubing, you'll see like, I don't know, what, like 6 of them per trip.
At least.
It's crazy how many trains go by up and down here, Norfolk Southern.
There was an Amtrak too.
Yeah. Today though, we're going over to, I think it's called Millersburg Ferry, and it's like one of the oldest operating ferries in the state of Pennsylvania, and it goes over the Susquehanna, so it should be a cool thing in a museum that we might do, and who knows where the day might take us, but it is supposed to be kind of poor weather, so not really a good day to be on the water here at the campground.
Scattered thunderstorms, so not safe.
But Rachel's been enjoying the campground so far, I think.
Yeah, this place has been really nice. I told my mom last night, I don't regret coming here. It's pricey, and it's not something I would do every single year, but I can see doing something like this every other year, every couple years. It's a nice change of pace.
Yeah, good treat for the kids too.
Yeah.
So, all right, off we go. Where'd they go, Lily? Where'd they go? Where'd they go? So friends, we're here in Millersburg, and Lewisburg, which is the namesake of the ferry, is on the other side of the Susquehanna from here. We came to this side just because there was a convenient place to get gas and money along the way. The ferry, they prefer cash, so we had to stop at the ATM at Rutter's. But yeah, otherwise, if you're staying at like Buttonwood or whatever, the Lewisburg side of the fairway would be closer to you. But this side has a beautiful park and like a walking path here that we're on right now, and there is a couple of parking spots down here. Now we could have also taken our truck on the ferry back to the other side. I don't know if they'd have room for both of our trucks though, because we have 2 big vehicles, and there's probably a weight limit, and Lord knows we're probably over it. So we're gonna take the ferry across and then take the ferry back here, and I don't know, just enjoy the park and the nice weather that we do have currently. It's not raining just yet, so the Susquehanna though looks pretty muddy from the rain last night, so there's that, but yeah, that's what we're doing. Come on, Theo. Boy. The dog, in case anyone's wondering, Theodore is really smart, has pretty much taken to everything like instantly. I don't know if it's just the age that he is, because I think he's about 11 weeks now, but it seems like just picks up on everything within, a few tries or whatever. He sits, he comes, he does all those things. Puppies are a lot of work, so life's been a little bit overwhelming lately with the puppy and the 2 kids, but we're getting it done, and it's good to have the puppy right now and get him like accustomed to our travel style and all the things that we do. So it's been a interesting experience for sure. A big part of the reason we got Theo was because Lily was a little bit depressed. So would you say Lily's happier now that we have a puppy?
Lily's so much happier and bouncier, and like she's playing a lot more than even before, because Trigger was slowing down and he couldn't play as much, so Lily couldn't play as much, but now she's starting to play like a puppy again, so until she's done with him, and then she lets Theo know to go away. She has no trouble telling him she's had enough. But
yeah, so they've taken to each other pretty well. It's been what, 2 weeks, 3 weeks since we got them?
It's been 2 weeks, and it was probably about 5 days before Lily was like, oh, I kind of like having him around. So
Yeah, so it didn't take long.
no,
So-
shorter than I thought it was going to take. I thought it would take at least this long. So they're good.
Easy transition.
They're good. Can the good boy sit? Yes, you can sit.
So, in tradition with, I guess, things that they've probably been doing since the ferry's inception in 1817, it looks like, but I'll look into that a little more in a minute. If the door is towards the river, they'll know to come back over to get people. So basically, it's just a big white thing that they can see from wherever they're at. So it's a pretty unique way to call the ferry over. And then if the door is, this way, which would have been the way they left it, they wouldn't be able to see it from afar. So that's how they would know. But let's see here. Early ferries in Millersburg date back to 1760, it looks like. I think it's one of the oldest wooden paddle boat ferries in the state of Pennsylvania. And I'm going to read all the rest of this information here and then maybe give you some fancy tidbits in a second. So it says that way back, the boats was rowed across. So they had rowmen actually to row the ferries across. But the boats that were getting on actually date back to the 1920s. It says the current boats, the Roaring Bull and the Falcon, were launched in the 1920s, and then they've been rebuilt several, like 5-6 times since then. But it's interesting that this whole process dates back, 100 years essentially for these boats, and then the 1760s, that had been nearly 250 years ago. So the boat certainly looks like it's 100 years old. That's for certain. We'll get some good footage of it here in just a second. So yeah, this thing's like 100 years old. So you can tell it's about 100 years old. Very, very unique looking boat. I've never been on something like this ever. So if you're a duck hunter, right here's a good spot. Got some duck blinds here and some up there. I would imagine you can kill quite a many ducks. Now I assume that these are, you probably have to pay or have some sort of permissions for those blinds. There might be like a lottery or something, depending on where you're at around here. It's a very popular thing, but the lottery drawings to actually get in some of these blinds is kind of difficult. They were telling us this boat or this company has been around since I think the 1860s, so 260 years old. But of course, there was, possibilities of ferries here back to the 1700s, like the sign says back. But this is the oldest form of transportation in the state of Pennsylvania, and they told us that this will be your smoothest road in Pennsylvania. So, because this is part of State Route 209. And the only reason this ferry is still in existence is because it's square in the middle of several different bridges. Those bridges up and downstream put all the other ones out of business, but this one's right in the middle, so still here. So it's pretty cool. And like he said, by riding this boat and financially supporting them, you're financially supporting history here in Pennsylvania. And out in the eastern Pennsylvania, there's history everywhere. You don't have to look very hard to find it. And we're all about unique experiences on this channel, and it doesn't get any more unique than this. You see the bird, William? William, you see the bird? Is that a duck? Over there you'll see the other boat that the ferry company uses on busy days. They'll run 2 boats. And then over here there's an RV park, campground. So for my fellow RVers, this would be a good place to stay. And you could watch the ferry boats go back and forth and be right here on the Susquehanna too. So that would be fun. It doesn't get any better than this. You're surrounded by the mountains and the Susquehanna River. Great setting for an RV park, really. I'm not sure what it's called, but I'll put the name of it down below for you so you can look it up. I know nothing about it, but Alright, well, just when we thought today couldn't get any better, the captain of the ferry told us there's ice cream just up the way, so ice cream it is. Alright, so just some RV tips and hacks as we leave our site here at Buttonwood. When you're at a place like this with full hookups, it's a good idea to flush your tanks here, because you're not going to be taking up someone's time at the dump station. Like if I'm at a dump station and you got a line behind you, you can't flush your tanks. It's not very courteous. People are trying to get out of there. Here, like I can run it for a good while, open the black valve, turned it on, and then when I went up and blew off the top of the slide, and you can multitask and do a lot of things while that's going, and then I'll empty the gray, and then you can get the gray more empty too here because you got more time. But these full hookup sites, you got a lot more stuff over here to deal with putting away, so that's kind of annoying. But like I said, we hardly ever have full hookups, but when we do, we take advantage of the little things. This has been kind of a whirlwind family adventure. It's been very hard to document. Our life is chaos in the first place, and then you add a puppy into it, and these things are always kind of hard to film, and I didn't do a very good job this year, I don't think. But we're headed out of here shortly, and we'll talk about what we liked about Buttonwood. And yeah, I do think it's a good place for you to come, so we'll get Rachel in on the talk here before we go. Alright, my friends, we are leaving Buttonwood Campground. I think everybody had a good time, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I think so.
This was our annual Sarah's birthday trip, although
It wasn't really.
it was a little later than last year, and that was because Buttonwood was booked last week totally and we couldn't get in. But yeah, I mean, these are always difficult to film, this in particular because of the puppy, but I hope everybody enjoyed watching these episodes. You'll want to tune in next week. We're going to Cook's Forest State Park, so we'll be back to our normal state park budget-style camping adventures. This was a little bit too expensive for our tastes, I guess.
Just
maybe.
a little bit. I mean, I enjoyed it, but this is a once in a while type of thing.
It's a real treat for the kids if you come here. Like,
Definitely.
if you have children and you enjoy wine slushies, then
This is a good place
this is
to
a good
come.
place for you. And you want to. We don't go on real big, expensive vacations with the kids very often. All right, we're headed out. We'll see you next week. Thanks for watching.